me back to Nana's table, where we laughed and talked all day. So long ago, love was offered. The joy of being together made you want to stay. Take me back to Nana's table.
Well, hey y'all, welcome back to Life with Nana. I'm Nana and I'm so glad you're here today. Today we are cleaning out the refrigerator and we are making a soup from what's in there. So I had some leftover meatloaf and I have some leftover hamburger. And I've got a little bit of that bacon left that we cooked. I've got some cream potatoes here that we're going to do something with, some pinto beans, some corn, and some hash browns from the freezer. And I've got a few carrots. And we're going to put this on and just let it cook low and slow until we feel like it's done. Now in the sink over here I have some chicken broth, and I will be adding some beef bouillon to that just to make it a little better. And I have 1 jar of just tomato sauce, and we're hoping this is going to turn out to be a new favorite. So the first thing I need to do is to chop up this meatloaf and bacon that's been in the refrigerator. And it'll sort of disintegrate anyway, but I want to kind of chop it up and give it a good go so that it will be, I can turn it down and walk away from it if I need to. Now, this is a good way to not waste food. And even if you weren't going to eat this today, you could put it in the freezer and, have it at a later date. And a lot of times I will do this and can it. And then, my mother-in-law loves soup and so do I. So that's what we're doing. So I have my big stock pot here and I'm just going to get these in there. And we're going to go ahead and chop these hamburgers up. We're going to make a pan of cornbread. And we're going to also make some brownies from those packages that we made not too long back. So that we would have them prepped and ready to go. I had 3 hamburgers left. And we have eaten hamburgers. We ate them for 2 days. So I think it's time to turn it into something else. And I love being able to do this because this way you don't waste the food. And it's just a nice way to use up some things that maybe you wouldn't have used up otherwise, I hate to throw things away that I know that are still good that I could do something with. But I'm one of those people, if I throw it in the freezer, just in a baggie, 6 months later, I'm going to be getting that out and throwing that away. So there's no sense in me doing that. All right, so I have my hamburger meat in here. Let's see about this broth. This is thawed out enough for me to get it out of my container here. I'm hoping that's tomato, not enchilada sauce. Although that would be good too. I'm going to rinse this jar out and put just a little liquid down in the bottom of that. I'm probably going to have to add some water to this, and that'll be okay. So I have some frozen corn. I'm just going to put that in there. This is such a simple thing to do. There's nothing to it, really. Let me get something to cut these up with. I'm going to add just a few carrots. I'm going to cut them up real thin. Or chop them up into kind of thin pieces, you know. This reminds me of my dad. This is something that he would have done. He would have thrown a bunch of stuff in the pot and let it cook while, especially in the wintertime, while he was watching TV, or sometimes he would work on something in the house or do something, you know, and he would get all that done, and he would have his supper already going. It looks like that ought to be pretty good. Put these back in the refrigerator. I've got a jar of a quart of pinto beans I'm going to add to this. Smells so good. The only problem I see with this is that it does tend to make a lot. You're putting a lot of ingredients, even though it's little bits of this and little bits of that. You wind up with a lot. So a lot of this will be frozen and taken to my mother-in-law. And I had some of these hash browns that I had bought for something else, and I'm just going to add them. I think I'm just going to add the whole bag, and that way we can get rid of those. And remember when we cook the bacon, we have one little piece of bacon left, and so I'm just going to add it in there. Get a little chop block out. So we're going to get this on the stove. We're going to get this cooking. And when we get to the point that I feel like this is ready for us to eat, I'll bring you back and we will start on the cornbread and the brownie. So we're ready to make our cornbread. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some, I have some home rendered lard here, but you could use whichever fat that you prefer to use in your kitchen. And I'm just going to put some of this in the bottom of my pan. And we're going to put this in the oven and let it get really hot while we're mixing up the rest of this. All right. I have my oven preheated to 425. I'm going to put a couple of let's see, we'll do 2 cups of cornmeal, sort of heaping. Got that last one a little bit heaping, so let's get that off there. Now, some people like to add flour to their cornbread. I don't, so I'm not going to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 eggs. And I may use these. No, we'll just go 2. I was debating with myself because these are smaller eggs, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to use 3, but I think 2 is fine. And then I have here a little less than 2 cups of milk. We're just going to stir this until it's well combined. Those eggs are rich because they are from a local farmer. They're in a Walmart container, but my mother-in-law got some from someone she knows that raises chickens. So. Okay. Now let's see if our lard has melted. Just about there. So let's put up what needs to be put away. My dishwasher is running. It has a few more minutes. All right, you can see there's quite a bit of oil in there. So we're gonna just put that in there. Grab my spoon. We're gonna stir this around. We're gonna pour this into our pan. We're going to give this a gentle shake and put it back in the oven. Now that's going to need about 25 minutes to cook through. I'm going to kind of wash up a little bit of what I have going on over here, and then we'll come back and we'll make our brownies. Okay, so now we're ready to go with our brownies. We've got our cornbread done over there. I've reduced the heat of the oven, and we are ready to do our brownie mix. Now, we did these probably about a month ago or something like that, a few videos back. But what's in this bag is 1 cup of sugar, a half a cup of flour, 1/3 cup of cocoa, 1/4 teaspoon each of salt and baking powder. And then that's your dry ingredients. You've got them all mixed up, ready to go. I love having things like this on the shelf. They're so convenient. You don't have to buy brownie mixes in the box. The next thing you're going to add is 2 eggs and a half a cup of oil. Oil. And we're just going to stir this until it's well combined. And we're going to add our vanilla flavoring. And you don't want to overwork this. You just want to get it combined really well. So let's go with the vanilla. That is going to be all of that, but I think that's going to be enough. Okay. I have an 8x8 pan here that I sprayed with some nonstick spray. And we're just going to pour this over into it. And these are going to cook for about 15 minutes. I'll double check that, but I think that's about right. 20 minutes. Bake at 3. It says 350. $350 for 20 minutes. I'm just going to get this in there, get all this put away. And if you're wondering about the brace, I have fibromyalgia and I'm having a flare right now. So my wrist was hurting really bad. So I'm trying to keep it stabilized so that it won't hurt. The cornbread looks good. A little hard working one-handed. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful cornbread. All right. Our oven is up to temperature, so I'm going to put the brownies in and set a timer. See how look good that looks? All right. It's almost time to take the brownies out of the oven, and the soup is done and the cornbread is done, and we're ready to almost sit down and eat. So that is going to be great. So I'm going to go ahead and cut me a piece. Now I like to break mine up in the bowl and then put my soup on top of it. Our brownies, those will be fantastic. Little ice cream over that later. So let's give this a taste test. All right. This is a super easy meal to pull together, especially when you have a stocked pantry. I talk about this a lot. Having things on your pantry shelf that you can pull out and you can make a soup like this so quickly. You've had a hard day, you've worked maybe you've worked in the garden all day or you've worked at your job all day. No matter what it is, this is screaming hot right here. So let's get this cooled off a little bit. Mm. Oh my goodness. That is fantastic. Mm. So good. So I'm glad that you stopped by to spend some time with me in the kitchen today. And I'm just so thankful for each and every one of you. We've got some new subscribers, so welcome to Nana's uh, little community here. All right, we're ready for our dessert. Look at this. Look how wonderful this looks. Look at it. Isn't that beautiful? Wonderful. Let's see how this tastes. So good. I recommend you try these. The recipe will be in the show notes. And just remember that Nana loves you. Nana is so, so proud of you guys. And you always have a friend here. All right, we're ready for our dessert. Look at this. Look how wonderful this looks. How big a piece does Nana want? Look at it. Isn't that beautiful? Wonderful.
Why you putting ice cream on it?
Y'all, I have to put up with so much. Y'all just don't know.
Is that moo cow ice cream?
Papa's not getting any ice cream because he's being Papa. So let's see how this tastes. Do any of y'all need a Papa? Let's see how this tastes. Okay, y'all. I got visitors in the kitchen. I'm gonna have this all eaten before I get the shot done. Let's see how this tastes. So good.